What does it really take to turn an ordinary social media account into a global career that millions of people follow every single day? Think about it for a second. How many people post on Instagram, and how many actually turn it into something meaningful? Today, we are diving into the story of Natallia Fedorova, better known as Natallia Fedorova, a Belarus-born influencer who didn't just chase attention, she built influence, step by step, post by post, year by year. Now, let's jump back to the 27th of December, 1996. On this day, a girl is born in Belarus, unaware that, years later, millions of people across the globe will watch her life unfold on their screens. She's a Capricorn, often associated with discipline and ambition, but back in 1996, she was just like anyone else, living a normal life. There were no cameras, no followers, no brand deals. Just potential. And here's something I want you to think about: how many people have potential, but never act on it? Fast forward 17 years to 2013. Instagram is growing, but it's not what it is today. There are no reels dominating the feed, no massive influencer economy, just photos, filters, and creativity. This is when Natallia starts posting. At first, nothing extraordinary, just moments from her life. Here's where things get interesting. While most people post randomly and then disappear, she stays consistent. And consistency, as simple as it sounds, is something most people fail at. So let me ask you, if you started something today, would you still be doing it 5 years later, even if no one was watching? Because that's exactly what separates people like Natallia from everyone else. Slowly, her content started evolving. From casual posts to more refined visuals. From random uploads to intentional storytelling. She began understanding something very important: the internet doesn't reward effort alone, it rewards presentation. Her photos became sharper, her style more defined, her confidence more visible. And people noticed. One follower became 10. 10 became 100. 100 became thousands. And before she even realized it, she was building something real. With her growing audience, the next chapter of her online journey began to unfold. Now let's talk about where she is today. Over 664 posts. More than 4.6 million followers. Around 90 followers. That's not just a number, that's a community. A digital presence. A brand. She describes herself as a lifestyle and travel influencer, and honestly, that's exactly what her content reflects: confidence, aesthetics, and a life that feels both aspirational and relatable. But here's the question: did it happen overnight? No. And she admits it herself. In her own words, "I had a long journey to my dream and now I'm happy doing my favorite things, sharing it with world." That line alone tells you everything. Because behind every effortless influencer you see online, there are years of unseen effort. Now, picture this: moving beyond just posting pictures, Natallia began turning her content into a career. Around September 2017, she stepped into the world of freelance influencing. Not just posting for fun anymore, but working with brands, understanding audiences, creating value. And here's where things get serious. By 2018, she became a full-time influencer for Fashion Nova, a major milestone. If you know anything about the influencer industry, you know Fashion Nova doesn't just pick anyone. They choose people who can sell a lifestyle. At the same time, she collaborated with Guess, Inc., another globally recognized fashion brand. And this is where you start to see the pattern. This isn't luck. This is positioning. Let me ask you something. Why do brands choose certain people? It's not just looks. It's not just followers. It's influence. Natallia built a presence where people didn't just watch her, they trusted her style, her choices, her identity. And that trust. That's what brands pay for. But she didn't stop there. She became a brand ambassador for Bang Energy, worked with lounge underwear, and even explored modeling and acting through Hype Train between 2022 and 2023. So now I want you to think, how do you go from posting pictures, to working with global brands, to acting and modeling? The answer is simple, but not easy: growth. She didn't stay in one lane. She expanded. And in today's world, if you don't evolve, you disappear. Let's shift focus to a new platform, TikTok. In 2022, Natallia began posting on TikTok as a content creator. Again, she doesn't just exist, she adapts. Fashion transitions, pranks, lifestyle clips, content designed for attention, engagement, and shareability. In 2022, Natallia began posting on TikTok as a content creator. And again, she didn't just exist, she adapted. Fashion transitions, pranks, lifestyle clips, content designed for attention, engagement, and shareability. She gained over 40,000 followers and more than 1.3 million likes. And here's something important: different platforms require different strategies. What works on Instagram doesn't always work on TikTok. But she understood that. So ask yourself, are you adapting to change, or resisting it? Because digital success isn't about doing one thing well. It's about doing many things consistently across platforms. Having explored multiple platforms, now let's talk about the lifestyle that everyone sees, and often envies. Her content features travel to places like Rhodes, Emerald, and Cancun. Beautiful locations. Stunning visuals. The kind of life that makes people stop scrolling. But here's the deeper question: is that the whole story? Or is it just the highlight reel? Because behind every perfect post, there's planning, editing, retakes, and strategy. And that's something most people don't see. Now, despite her massive online presence, Natallia keeps her personal life relatively private. But occasionally, her boyfriend appears in her TikTok videos. Just small glimpses. Enough to connect, but not enough to expose everything. And that's a strategy too. Because in the age of oversharing, mystery becomes power. Even her choice of music, like tracks from Lana Del Rey, adds a cinematic, emotional layer to her content. It's not just visuals anymore. It's storytelling. And that brings us to the most important part of her journey. This isn't just about being an influencer. It's about becoming a brand. A brand that people recognize. A brand that people trust. A brand that people follow, not just for content, but for identity. So now I'll ask you the final question. Is Natallia Fedorova just another Instagram model? Or is she proof that with consistency, strategy, and belief, can you build something global from nothing? Because at the end of the day, her story isn't just about her. It's about what's possible. And maybe, just maybe, it's a reminder that your journey could start the same way hers did. With one post.